weight as of now. Like if we compare India as compared to other countries like be it Taiwan or Japan or US, so we are somewhat lacking behind them in robotics segment, in humanoid segments, even in the automation and all. So our main purpose has to be like we have to innovate. We have to bring something very best out of our mind, and this actually this was the factor which brought me into the robotics segment. And currently I'll tell you about our company a bit about company itself. Like Logic Boots Private Limited is a DPIIT recognized startup, currently incubated at University of Delhi. It's in partnership with STPI and India Electronics and Semiconductor Association. That's all. And we are incubated and funded by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. So these are basically we are working on back-to-back innovations. Innovations actually come from the problems which we see in our daily lives. Like earlier, currently, we have so many companies who are working on the electric cars or electric scooters. So this is basically a necessity. A necessity is the mother of invention, as said, and robotics somehow is playing a very crucial and very important role as of now in technology. So what I will do, I'll present the screen, and I'll request Anya to just allow me to share my screen, and we'll go back
Sir,
to back on the
sir,
production.
you can share your screen, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir, go ahead, sir.
Hope the PPT is visible to every one of you. Like,
Yes, sir. It's visible for us.
okay, thank
Yeah,
you
sir,
so much.
it's visible.
Okay, great, great. So let's move ahead. We'll talk something interesting today. Actually, this is as I said, this opportunity to interact with such young and innovative minds, and under one roof, basically, it's hard to find. So we'll start with the company introduction. As said, Logic Boost Private Limited is a DPIIT recognized startup, which is incubated at University of Delhi by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We work in the segment of robotics, backed up with the high-end algorithms of machine learning and artificial intelligence. IoT is another part which we use in our bots, basically. So we'll discuss one by one everything. So let's start. Let's begin everything. Oh, okay. Humanoids. Actually, it's a very interesting and very hardcore topic as of and hot topic as of discussion as of right now. So we are all of you, and even I think maximum of us are aware about Sophia and all. Sophia basically is a first humanoid which was launched by a company, and is the only robo who is having a Saudi Arabian citizenship. It's a totally AI based. But we actually there is a difference between machine learning and artificial intelligence. A lot people generally get confused with these two things. So today we'll be discussing robotics and its further version with humanoids. Basically, humanoids are of 2 points. The male humanoid which we are making is called android, and the female one is gynoid. So these are the things one by one. The introduction, actuator sensors, the impact of AI and ML. AI basically is a very broad field, and it's still a matter of research. Artificial intelligence, and machine learning is still research are going on. There are several algorithms being developed by the various companies and various people all over the world. We have different kind of platforms to go on with the robotics and all. I'll be telling you about the robotics operating system ROS, which is one of the finest and easiest way, which is less time consuming if you are working on a bot thing. So we'll be discussing one by one everything. So let's start. As said, Sophia. Sophia basically is a humanoid, gynoid, basically female robot, female bot. So that's why the female version is called gynoid and the male version is called android. So, robotics basically what the word robotics stand for. We'll start with this. Robotics is not just limited to one department of engineering, be it electronics or electricals. It's a combination of almost all the parts of the engineering. Be it it requires the mechanical engineering, it requires mechanical engineering for the kinematics of the bots, for the actuators, basically difference between actuators and sensors I'll be telling you in the next slide. The motors and all, everything, the speed, everything, almost the chassis on which the bot is made. Even every car has have a different chassis number. Chassis is the platform on which bot or the car or the body of a bus or truck is made. So chassis is the most prime thing, and that is actually the initiation what we are making. Like we have thought we'll be making some a humanoid. So what chassis we'll be using on that? Or like we'll be making a robotic car. So what kind of chassis we'll be requiring? So that is the first and prime focus thing. Let's start. Robotics, it has mechanical engineering department. Then it comes with the electronics, the sensor and all, everything, the connection, communication, the IoT concept, the automation. IoT is the Internet of Things. Like it's a simple thing. I'll explain you in a simple word. Like we switch on, switch off lights using our mobile phones. Anything connected over Wi-Fi or internet and can be controlled remotely. Like I'm sitting in Delhi and I can switch on, switch off lights, which is and my flat is in Vellore. So that I can do using Wi-Fi connectivity, and that is called automation, Internet of Things. Like there are various kinds. We are working on that also. I'll be explaining you our all the three products. So first, it has mechanical engineering department. It has electronics. It has electrical for the power and the batteries. Like batteries are a very important part, and it plays a most crucial thing. Choosing the perfect battery takes time. Like we have to test back to back what kind of battery is going to be suited for our robot. So we have lithium polymer, we have lithium ion. So there are different kinds available batteries in the market, and we have to test everything. This the battery is like a food, like food. We consume food to gain energy, and the water used to have batteries to have the energy to work or whatever it is. So basically, it has electronics, it has electrical, it has mechanical, and most important, it is having computer science and the IoT part. Computer science, because all the codings, all the commands, all the algorithms are written via codes on our controllers. So it's totally robotics is a branch which is not a selective branch, or it's limited to one branch. It's totally combination of almost everything of engineering. Physics is the mother of engineering, and same as robotics basically. So let's start. I'll be starting with the basic to advanced level, right? Like we'll be discussing about microcontrollers and all everything. Now, human have five senses. Five senses in the sense we have tongue, we have eyes, we have nose to smell, we have eyes to see, we have tongue for taste, we have hands to feel, we have ears to listen. So these are the senses actually, collectively. These senses. So a bot must be having a sensor. It has something. It has to combine with something through which the controller can sense what the environment is. Like if a robot is walking and suddenly like suppose we are walking randomly by closing our eyes, and suddenly we get a obstacle like a wall or anything, even a car or a bike, and if the eyes is closed, it's definitely we are going to fall. So there one sensor which is called eyes is working. Once the eyes are open, we can easily detect whether it's a wall or it's a bike or it's a bus or whatever it is obstacle. Any kind of obstacle we can detect through our eyes. This is a kind of sensor. So a robot must be having some sensors to sense the environment. Like for the it's a very basic. The most basic one is the IR sensor and the ultrasonic sensors, which are used to detect the obstacles. Now, how that works? It works on the same way the way eyes works. Light it reflected back, and we used to see. And same is the case with this ultrasonic sensors or the IR ones. It sends the light, and if it doesn't comes, we have the way. And if it reflects back, we can calculate the distance also. We have different sort of actuators for that, actually, for calculating the distance, how much far the wall is from the robot. So these are kind of sensors. There are various kind of sensors actually available in the market, from agriculture to humanoids. First of all, we have to see, the robot has to see, so it must be having some sort of eyes. So that eyes basically ultrasonic. When we talk about ultrasonic or the RFID, the basic one, with the basic sensors are available in the market, which costs around 250 or 300, something like that. For the testing and for learning purpose, that is enough. And if we are going to make a humanoid like a high class and with the high end algorithms, we are, in that case we have to use the different versions of the ultrasonic are already available in the market. First of all, that is the prime thing. For the purpose of eye, for seeing eyesight and all everything, for the obstacle detection, we can use ultrasonic. We can use IR also. IR is a short distance one. Yeah, even the IR is also having various types of versions, like initial, which costs around 50-55 rupees, which is the normal one, which is in TV remote also. That is basically a very basic IR sensor, infrared sensor, which is used for testing purpose and all everything. But when you are going to make some high-end robots, we have to check the distance also. Like it has a limit. Remote has a limit, like how far it can operate the television. So same is the case with the bot also. We have to use different kind of different versions of IR sensors. Then we have range sensors. Range sensors in the sense to find the range, how much far, how much the obstacle is on how much distance from the bot. That is
Yes, sir.
range sensor basically. And
Basically, as you said, there are a lot of sensors in the field. And
exactly.
can you please elaborate what are the general sensors that can be used in an industrial robot?
Exactly. I'm coming to that point also. Just let me explain what the sensors are and what the actuators are. So first is basically the ultrasonic one. This is a very basic sensor. I'll be starting, as said, I'll be starting with the basic, from basic to advanced level. So we have, for basic purpose, we have the ultrasonic sensors, we have the IR sensors. For the, when we go to the industrial level, like we have to make industrial kind of bots or any high-end bots. Whenever I'm talking high-end bots, so that is basically industrial level sensors. And then we use a range sensor, like we have used in a bot, in our bot basically, which is vacuum cleaning and mopping robot. That is IR sensor. That is rain sensor actually. First of all, second one, I'll explain you two to three kind of sensors one by one. These are the two sensors for the eyesight, and the third one is actually actuators. What the actuator? Let me clear with this point what the actuators are. Then we'll come to the further things. Actuators basically are the legs or the motors. You can say that. Whatever, we have different kind of motors. Like if you go for a servo motor basically is 180-degree rotation. You must have seen some bots who used to take rotation of 180 degrees of their head, or even the arms, the robotics arm, the industrial arms, which which the industries are using, which is used in the KUKA robotics and all. KUKA Robotics basically is a German company, and all the parts, even the Maruti. So these are actuators actually. The motors, the whether it's a gear motor, which we are using in normal bots, whatever bot we are using, like normal sensors. What was selling? Like sorry. Yeah, fine. Actuators. So these are actuators, the motors, the servo motors, the geared motors. Geared motors are used basically in the normal bots, where like line following or all, for the testing purpose, for the initial purpose. As far as we are going ahead with the high end or industrial kind of things. So there we have different versions. Like in our bot, initially we have started. I'll give you example with our bot itself. Like we have started with the IR sensors for our vacuum cleaning and mopping bot. But that was not range friendly. Like it can detect a very close one, but was not able to detect the stairs or if it is going to fall down from a table. So we have used a range sensor. I'll just let you know. That was the prime thing which we have used the range sensor to increase the distance of the to see a bigger distance for the range. We have this is basically it's a black color one. You can even Google that. Then apart from this, we have also tested for the ultrasonic one. We have used RFID for the communication purpose. Like what we have given a IoT concept. If the bot is kept at a Mumbai and I am sitting in Delhi, I can easily control that from anywhere, but the prime focus is Wi-Fi. It has to be Wi-Fi enabled. So these are the things basically. Sensors we have different sort of, as said, from basic one for the basic. Even the ultrasonic have various kind of sensors like various versions of ultrasonic. We are using 404. We have 305. These are the industrial and the normal ones. That depends on the quality. First of all, apart from ultrasonic or infrared, we have this the one of the actuator, the servo motor, plays a very crucial role. Very crucial because it detects in which direction the obstacle is present. 180-degree rotation. Even the robotics arm, some of the arms is having 360 degree of rotation. We use stepper motor over there, and some arms use 180 degree of rotation. Like the Kuka robotics is basically works on the 180 degree rotation of the robotics arm. Even the medical electronics, most of the things like one of our robo, which is a nursing robo, we have used 360 degree of rotation in that for the hands purpose. For the head one, we have used normal 180 degree. Now, one of the most important sensor which is done on the industrial level, it's called a LiDAR, light detection and ranging. Basically, LiDAR is the you can say it's an advanced version of ultrasonic sensors or the IR sensors. This is the industrial level sensor LiDAR. LiDARs. We have also even tested the LiDAR, but switch back to range sensor because of the costing. The LiDAR costing starts with the 3,500 and it takes around 80 to 90,000. Even it costs around 1 or 1.5 lakhs. That depends on the requirement and how much work you are going to take from it. LiDARs basically used in the, like if you are talking about humanoids, then we must have to use the LiDARs one. Like we are making a bot, like even we have used LiDARs in our nursing robot, which is whose cost is quite high as compared to our vacuum cleaning and mopping bot. Even that cost, so even the cost of the nursing robo is also very less than as compared to other companies. Like recently, I was during the last sorry during the last lockdown, I was watching them. Fortis Mumbai has bought a robo from Japan, and it cost them around 25 lakhs. And the work which that bot was doing, whether to it was the bot was just checking the human body temperature and telling whether you are having a fever or not. That's all, nothing more than that. So that was the very simple, and it cost around 25 lakhs, including import and excise, everything. And our nursing bot is a multi-purpose kind of bot, and maximum cost is going around 6 lakhs around. So we have used LiDAR in that to see. Basically, LiDAR is the eyes. Apart from this, even many companies are using cameras. Like for the sensor purpose, I'm telling, on industrial level, like testing and all we have done with the basic ultrasonic or IR one. So, industrial level, like cameras, we have two kind of cameras: the 2D one and the 3D one. 3D one is the most advanced one, but if you are going to make a cost friendly one, like for the simple, I am giving examples of my products itself. For the vacuum cleaning and mopping one, we have to make the product ready within 10,000, and because our target market size is of lower middle class, upper middle class, and the normal ones, middle class level. So we have to make the bot within 10,000. So we were not able to use camera because that costed around 4 to 5,000, only the cost of the camera. So anyhow, the cost would have become 20 to 25,000 of the bot, and which is almost equal to what LG and the other companies are offering. So we have to give something best out of that with the minimum range price. So in place of camera, we have used. I'll be telling you what we are actually. It's totally software based. We have made it with genetic algorithms, and we have hardly used any six sensors, and all the out of them, two are range sensors and four are normal IR sensors. That's all. For the industrial purpose, we use camera, 2D cameras, 3D cameras. 3D actually they plot the graphs. That day, there at first of all, before knowing this working of the camera on the industrial level, I'll be letting you know why actually it requires. Apart from sensing the environment, what is the main purpose? The main purpose is the most important purpose of a bot is the navigation system. Like we have to go anywhere in the city, we used to follow a Google Maps, but there is no map available for indoor navigation. When I'm talking about indoor navigation, it means from bedroom to hall, and from hall to kitchen, or from one side of the office, from cabin to the pantry, or from cabin to the stairs or lift. So for indoor navigation, Google Maps doesn't work in the indoor navigation, and it's still indoor navigation is still a part of the research. This is the most important and prime and most maximum time taking thing, the navigation and the indoor navigation part. We have two kind of things over there. First is mapping. Mapping is basically to create a internal map, like we used to use Ola, Uber. We get a map, even on the Google Map we get a kind of map. So that map has to be created using cameras. So cameras are basically used for the mapping purpose, mapping and localization. We use SLAM, simultaneously localization and mapping. We use VSLAM. VSLAM, visual simultaneously localization and mapping. Visuals, whenever VSLAM is attached, V visuals, the bot is having the camera. It's clear from there. And when we are using only SLAM, it can be having the high range of ultrasonics, or it can be using RFID, or it can be using LiDARs. In 90% cases, SLAM techniques are implemented with the LiDARs. These are the industrial sensors basically I'm talking about. Now I'm talking about on the industrial level. So basically, the mapping part is a very important. Mapping and localization, as said, localization in the is a term to make a office or to make a floor like a local for the bot. So
Yes, sir.
starting,
Sorry to
yeah,
interrupt.
sure.
One of our participants just wants to know how can freshers enter the field of robotics?
Yeah, sure. I'll be discussing that also, like one by one. I'll be telling everything, like how we can enter and how we are going to make everything regarding robots and humanoids and all everything. So let me complete with this. Basically, this is the most important part when we are talking about robotics, the mapping and the navigation one. Then we have the path planning. We have several kind of path. We know the mapping, we know the map of a room, and now we have to give a path to robo, like how it is going to move. It's going to move in way, or it's going to move straight, or it's going to move following a wall. There are different kind of paths. We have the spiral path, like the bot will be going in the spiral path, or the straight one, or the zigzag one. So these are basically different kind of paths, and we have to decide this on paper first, and then we used to finalize the sensor and the actuators what we are going to use. Fine. The most important. This was basically the initial what I said, mapping and localization. The initial thing, the actuators, the sensors, and now what basically, as I said, necessity is the invention is the necessity is the mother of invention. Actually, basically, why we have gone. I'll let you know my example. Like there are various kind of problem. Why there were various kind of taxi booking apps available before this Ola and Uber come into the market. There were many ways to book the hotels before Oyo comes in. So somehow, if we just look around ourselves, we get a lot of problems. There are still lot of problems. Like a normal one, even we can make a bot to clean the walls. All of us, we used to clean our homes during Diwali or Holi or Dashera, Jale वगैरह. So for that, we can make a wall climbing robo. This is a necessity, and most probably within next 2 years, we are going to launch this one also. So basically, and all these necessity gives birth to innovations. Innovation basically is not limited to making new inventions. It is like improving something which is already existed in the market or in the society. Already hotel bookings were being done. Already there were various kind of apps or websites to book the taxis and all. Still, there were 99 acres and magic bricks. Still, housing.com came and just destroyed everyone's business. So this is basically they have improved the designs. They have improved the necessity, like लोगों को आलसी बनाने की तरकीबें. Basically, this is the fact. How come it can be easiest for the person? Like we are making a robotic vacuum cleaner. Why it was required? Already LG and Samsung and Roomba, iRobos is already in the market. Our main purpose was to give a cost friendly bot whose function is almost equal or better than that what the other companies are offering. This was the prime focus. So we have improved something in the sense like our vacuum cleaner is a patented vacuum cleaning product, not the whole boat. I'm talking about the engines, the turbine engine system we have used in our vacuum cleaners, and which creates a suction power of 4.5 kilopascals. 6.2 kilopascals, which is almost 1.5 times to that what iRobot's Roomba is offering, which costs around 70,000. So this basically we have improved the designs, we have improved the working of the bot. So when we are thinking about we have to enter this industry, or actually there are there are too much of opportunities lying. I'll just be discussing in the next slides. I've prepared the slide accordingly. So how we can enter into the market, and some of you must be having some ideas or innovative ideas. So first of all, I'll request you to get your ideas copyrighted, because idea पे किसी का बस नहीं रहता. Everyone, as soon the idea is stuck into the mind, just go file a copyright. Go for the Startup India website, and they'll guide you with the very minimum. It costs copyright cost around 3,500, something like that, the official fees. So that is the prime thing which every one of you should do as soon any kind of new idea or any sort of improvisation you are doing to already existing product. I'll be discussing about the opportunities in the coming slides. So basically, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Why this is important? When we are talking about humanoids, like currently we are using machine learning in both of our bots. Machine learning, I'm saying, because artificial, there is a one very basic kind of difference between these two terms. Machine learning can work on 500 set of training data. Artificial intelligence cannot even be implemented on a 5 lakhs of data. Like if anyone tells you now we can implement artificial intelligence in your college, is not at all possible. Machine learning can be done. Machine learning can be implemented on a smaller set of data. But for the artificial intelligence, we need to have a long set of data. It can be multiple of 100 crores. And that data collection will take a lot of time. Like recently, we have pilot of 2 hour of nursing robot. We have one of them is placed in the AIMS Delhi, and another was in PGI Chandigarh. You must have watched in the news also. And what is this doing? It is continuously till now it is based on the machine learning, like it can detect the human forehead. It can detect the mask. It can detect the temperature, the perfusion index, the oxygen level on the and the pulse rate, and it stores that data in the cloud. So for 500 patients, we have tested and presented it to Indira Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences at a doctors conference. So now, why we have not used the term AI with our nursing robot, because the training data which we have given was around 500, and now we have given it for testing for the purpose of its measuring the all the things which I have mentioned right now, like oxygen pulse and everything, on different kind of patients for at least 1 or 2 years. And AMC is a hospital, PGI Chandigarh is a hospital, like they used to see thousands of patients every day. So once in 1 year, once the bot is having immense multiple of 100 crores of data, in that case AI can be implemented, and then only we can say that it's a AI based bot. Till now it's a machine learning based bot. This is the basic difference. And when it is having so much of data, it has studied so much of thousands and lakhs of patients for 1 year. It can detect, like if the bot is continuously monitoring a patient for 2 to 3 days, it can detect that whether the heart of the person is strong, or is he going to have a heart attack. So it can notify that your heart is not working well, you have to visit the doctor as soon as possible. Because the main problem with the Indian families, with the Indians are na, we used to visit hospital once the damage is done. Hardly, most probably now the scene has started, like once a year we used to have medical checkups and all. But blood pressure and heart thing is not limited to 1 year. It can change within a 2 hours of time. So that was the thing. This is basically a difference between artificial intelligence and machine learning. So why this is given to a bot, as explained, like it can be when AI is implemented, the machine can decide itself. It can decide itself that whether the person's heart is healthy, or it's going to have something heart attack or any kind of problems he is facing in the heart. So basically,
Sorry to
why should
interrupt. Sorry to
sure.
interrupt
Go
you,
on.
sir. So there's a common question among the students.
Hmm.
What is the language that one should start with to start in this field?
Sure. Let me request you one thing actually. Questionnaire session. Just keep the collection of question, and we'll take it once the presentation is over. Because these are the things I am going to tell you in the next slides. I have prepared the slide
Okay, sure,
accordingly,
sir.
and all the questions, almost half of the questions will be rectified once the presentation is over. So
Okay,
basically,
sure, sir.
why should we choose robotics? First of all, as said, necessity is the mother of invention, and India totally needs a lot of robotics innovations as of now, be it in the field of medical electronics, be it in the field of defense. Like currently we have started with the working with the defense also. I can't be telling you much details about that, but we are working on a bot, something like that, for the hilly regions. So there are various kind of in defense. DRDO is developing various kind of bots. Defense Research Development Organization. We have closely worked with the DRDO also, even still working with them for the defense purpose. So we have a huge requirement in the defense. There is a company called Boston Dynamics. You must have heard about that, and you must have seen some video to a dog robo. Basically, it was made by Boston Dynamics. Even they make humanoids, and this dog robo is used in the US military. And
Yes,
this
sir.
is
I
what
think you're talking about Spot. That
exactly. So these are the things which they are using, and India is, as said in the first slide itself, we are lacking behind a lot as compared to these countries as far as artificial intelligence is concerned. Taiwan is working wonderfully in medical electronics use of AI. They are using like anything. They are using artificial intelligence for the heart rate, for the oxygen level, for everything. You can study like how Taiwan is working on the AI. These are the things. This is the necessity basically. Like healthcare system in India, we have seen in last 2 years is completely. Even the Italy was not able to sustain this COVID attack. And the condition of Indian medical industry, Indian healthcare industry is totally is somehow because of whatever be the reason, be it political or whatever, condition is not that good as compared to the other countries. So this is basically, and currently government is giving too much of offers, too much of opportunities government is offering for the medical electronics purpose, for the agriculture things. I'll be discussing one by one. We have huge scope of AI robotics, like robotic surgery and all. Human can make a mistake, हमारे हाथ कांप सकते हैं, but not of they can the bot does same thing what we ask them to do. Like we use there are various, like I said, Kuka Robotics, they use industrial arms for the Maruti and for painting purpose. Reason is that they do the work perfectly. Somehow a machine does a work perfectly as compared to human being, and it's a labor kind of thing. The bot is a labor kind of thing. Even there are various companies in the US who are making labor bots to pick up the heavy loads in the malls or in the warehouses. So basically, why we should choose robotics? It has huge opportunities, and we are lucky enough to be here present on the perfect time when the inventions are yet to be made. Already innovations are being done, and still there is a more to do, a lot more to do. This much that even a life of 100 years is too small. We can work on a lot of things. Like first of all, second, they can work. Like we can get tired, but a bot won't. As said, once the battery is discharged, we can recharge it, and the bot will be on work again for the cleaning purpose, as said. So accuracy is the main thing. Like in robotic surgery, recently a hospital in India have started the robotic surgery, and the IGIM is Indira Gandhi Medical Sciences. Currently, they are going for a robotic surgery. So these are the, until now we used to import these bots. Kuka Robotics, the robotics arm is being imported from the Germany. The bot used for the surgery purpose, they are being imported from the US or Korea and Taiwan. So anyhow, the government is focusing on manufacturing in India to make India a manufacturing hub, and we are on the perfect timing. We are present in the perfect time that we have so much of things, so much of innovations which we can do, and the government is already supporting us. As said, medical sciences. Then we have agriculture. Agriculture has a huge opportunities. Like currently, we have started working with the Uttarakhand government Department of Agriculture, and we are using IoT in that. IoT in the sense, it's a part of you can say part of robotics. Uh, we have used IoT for the irrigation purpose. As soon the water requirement is over, it can get switched off automatically. First of all, second one which we have used is the machine learning. Machine learning we have used for the crop yield, crops. Like we through machine learning we used to predict. So same thing we have used in the agriculture. Like we used to predict how much crops are healthy right now, and we do all these using image processing. We used to fly a drone over the crops, whatever be the area of the farming land, and we used to process those images. And already we have set the examples. Training data is already fed with the system, and in this way it can yield that the current crop we are going to have 90% of yield or 80% or something like that. If any plant requires any kind of nutrients or minerals, we can apply in the same amount. Like some plants need 2 grams of protein or whatever, carbohydrate or carbon. So we can supply on the required amount of minerals or nutrients to the selected plants. In this way, the crops yield is going to be higher as compared to traditional methods. As said, manufacturing, KUKA robotics, these are the examples. Transportation, we are already using. Even recently, Amazon have launched something for delivering purpose. So there are various opportunities. So why and how we can move to robotics? Why? Because as said, we have the necessity, and we have ample of time as of now to invent as much as we can. Like if we talk, you guys, I was quite excited once I got the mail regarding humanoids and all. Like quite excited because there was a few a group of people who were working and thinking of something very interesting, very interesting. So these are the things basically necessity. We have various opportunities, medical electronics, as said, in IoT agriculture purposes. Even the US is using a lot of agriculture equipments, a lot of agriculture drones or agriculture this robots to clean the weeds from the farming land. They used to have robots, and these are the things which are required in India too. Whatever be the political reason, just leave it. We have to work on our best. So this is basically be innovative. When I say be innovative, na, just sort out the problem whatever is present as of now. There is a quote like it was said by me in college, where there is a problem there will be some solution, because solution comes first. So this was the thing. This is the thing. Basically, we have to think about inventing, innovating to bring something best, or improve something which is already existed. Like we have huge opportunities in the agriculture. Is like totally we have totally 100%. We can give 100% to that. We can give 100% to medical electronics. Give 100% for the defense purpose. Like for example, I'm telling you, we used to have this the snow, and in the Siachen glaciers there used to have a lot of snow. But somehow, if we can predict like which snow is hard and easy to climb on that, and which is not, this can be done by using drones through image processing. That these hills with the snow is comfortable and we can climb on that. It's no, not in a danger zone. But if there is a ice which is recently made, or any sort of snow which is not very hard, and we can have a hollow over there, so it can be predicted using machine learning. These are the examples. This is basically a necessity. The climbing robot to clean the roof and all. This is the necessity, and hopefully, any one of us is going to bring all this. All this. There, as said, there is various kind of opportunities. As far as government is concerned, they are giving tremendous opportunities. Every government, every state. Andhra Pradesh, you can learn actually. I'll share something through WhatsApp. I'll share it to Vaishnavi. Basically, recently we have a meeting with the Andhra Pradesh government, and they have implemented machine learning like anything over this agriculture part. From putting the seeds into the soil to the selling, everything is on the system. Everything, and there is no sort of middleman out there. And when the middleman is not present, the farmer are gaining a tremendous amount of funds they are making. Government is directly buying from the farmers now. So they have worked a lot on this. I'll share the documents with Vaishnavi. You all can have that also. So how we are going to contribute? Anyhow, if we are working for the agriculture, you are helping the farmers. You are helping the people try to figure out something in the agriculture which can be done with the people living in the hilly regions like Uttarakhand or Himachal, because the problem is too much actually with the hilly peoples. Their farming land lies on the hills, and either if it is on a plain, the flood used to destroy the crops, and if it is on hills, the water doesn't stay over there. So in both the cases, we can work out a lot over this agriculture part. There is a called for form. There is a kind of farming which is known as hydroponics, which can be done even in the interiors, which can be done even on the roof. This is basically a very old technology which is totally being introduced like new in India. So as said, na, there is various kind of opportunity, and anyhow, even if we are working for a defense, we are working any kind of bot for a defense, we are working any kind of bot or robotics arm for the medical electronics, we are working and bringing some kind of bot or automation in the agriculture segment, in the healthcare industry. Even we can use machine learning and AI algorithms in financial technological services. So there are various kind of opportunities, and in everything, in every these innovations, we are going to contribute to the economy of the India. Anyhow, like we are making a bot, it's totally made in India. So not a single rupee is going out for the import purpose. So anyhow, the value of the rupee is going to increase in the next 5 years, and hopefully, if 1 lakh of people like us, everyone, you guys are quite exciting actually. And if everyone comes out with an idea, and we are going to make this country a bigger hub, a bigger manufacturing hub in terms of electronics, robotics, and everything. Once we are now, how we can enter? Actually, this is basically a basic question. First, as I said, look for the problems. Like whatever हमारे आसपास, whatever the problem are present in the surrounding, or whatever problem we can solve by improving something which is already existed through robotics, through machine learning, through artificial intelligence. This is the first and prime requirement. Second one is now how we are going to learn. Like let me tell you one thing. If you are interested to learn, na, you don't need a teacher. Exactly, you don't need a teacher. If you are totally, and when you are going to learn, just don't learn like a bookworm. Bookworm in the sense वो किताबी कीड़े, theoretical knowledge. Go for the practical ones. Like if the battery is blasting of your robot, let it be. If the Arduino is giving a lot of fumes because of cross connection or any wrong connection, let it be. It will be done once, but once you have made that mistake, that you are going to remember till your whole life. Like this is how which should not be done. So along with the theoretical, go with the practical. There are various websites, various YouTube videos, everything is available. You can learn of your own also. If you need a teacher, there are various companies also, even we are also in training. But we totally focus on the practical thing. With the theoretical knowledge, we are not able to, like suppose difference between theoretical and practical. Oxygen is available already in the air. It's 70%, something like that. Oh, so why not we can just grasp the oxygen directly from the environment? It has to undergo a process. Like telling theoretically that oxygen can be extracted from the environment is a one-line thing, but doing it, extracting the oxygen practically takes a lots of time. We used to have lots of machinery for extraction of oxygen from the environment. So this is the basic difference between theoretical and practical. Theoretical is a normal thing, like we have to study what are the sensors used, what kind of sensors are available, what is robotics. These are theoretical one. But once we are okay with theoretical, practical knowledge is a must, and you should go with the practical things simultaneously along with the reading. So once we are starting, so we have to start with the basic part, like simple basic. Try to make a robotic car, a normal one, which can run autonomously. Not autonomously, you can control the speed through our. There are various kind of apps available to control the robots. You can control the bot using RFID or Bluetooth module. HC510, which is basically used in the industry, and we have even used that the Bluetooth module. You can control the what. These are the basic. A line following robo. Make a robo which follows a straight line. Wall following in the sense like make a robo which follows only the walls. These are the basic robos. I'll be coming to drones later on. These are the basic robots we need to now. What we need to have actually, starting with the actuators and the sensors, we need to have changes. Now, the main part, the memory of a bot lies in the controller. Right? So there are various kind of controllers available in the market. When we are talking about for the practice session or for the learning purpose, the very famous Arduino Uno or Arduino Nano is present. Start with the Arduino Nano, even it cost too less. Arduino Nano, Arduino Uno, you can practice and learn on this. Now, when we are moving to the industrial purpose, like we are making a bot which we want to sell in the market. So Arduino Uno or Nano is not at all compatible as far as the Indian government's industrial norms. We can use Arduino at Mega. That is a bit initial start of the industrial thing, industrial bots. Arduino at Mega can be used, and then we have a very famous kind of board which is called STM32 Discovery, which we have used. It's very cost friendly. It costs around 6 to 7,000. It has inbuilt Wi-Fi and inbuilt Bluetooth with the various sort of pins. Almost 38 pins are there. STM32 Discovery. This is the industrial one we can use for the industrial purposes also. So we have to decide what kind of controller, what kind of how much work we are going to take from the bot. Accordingly, we have to decide that how much memory the bot should have, and accordingly the controllers are decided. So initially, as said, for the line following robo or wall following robo, we can go with the Arduino Nano or Arduino Uno also. But when we are going for a humanoid, we are going for a robotic vacuum cleaner, we are going for a nursing bot, or anything in medical electronics or anything in agriculture purpose, which we are going to sell in the market for the which is going to benefit people, and ultimately the country is going to benefit because it's totally made in India. So these are the things. These are the controllers already available. STM32 is very cost friendly. Starting, but once as soon as I'm entering in the robotics, go start with the Arduino Uno and Arduino Nano. Then slowly move to Atmega, and then we can have STM32 board. Then we have Motorola also. There are various kind of that depending upon the memory and depending upon the work which we are going to take. So this is the thing basically why we should opt our robotics and how we can enter into that. Now we are talking about humanoids, how it's going to help. It's I think almost every one of us knows. It's the humanoid is not going to get tired at any point of time. It can be used for the military purposes. It can be used for various for as a kind of labor purpose. It can do like if we have to put a weight of 100 kgs or 150 kgs, it can be easy for a bot, but it won't be easy for a normal human being. So these are the things basically a humanoid can do. Not to confuse with when I'm talking about medical electronics. Na, humanoid is not essentially to be implemented in the medical electronics. Even a normal robotic arm can be implemented for a surgery, like for the surgery purpose. Generally, robotics arms are used. So initially, I would request some of you to work on the robotics arms basically, and it's a different field. It's a part of robotics, but it's a totally different field. Like how much degree of rotation you are going to give to the hand, how much it can move, and it does everything accurately. So humanoids, most probably, our defense sector is requiring it like anything. The humanoids are required for the warehouses, like where for the warehouses also it's required like the costing. If anyone is running a company, the prime focus is to save money of every person, whether he is running a company or whether he is a normal human being doing a job. Savings are the most important thing. So once we are talking about saving, and I have suppose I have a warehouse where I have kept around 20 persons to work. And I know if I get a humanoid which can replace these 20 people, in that case I'll be saving a lot in that case. And there, those 20 people can be hired for the other purposes. Like, this is the way we can move ahead. Fine. So this was basically about human rights, but I told requirement is full out. Now, how the government is helping, let me tell you, and how we can proceed further. First and foremost thing is the funds. Like, you can't sell your home to make a bot, and you can't sell your books or whatever jewelries and all to make a bot and all everything. So for this, from 2015, the government of India is giving tremendous opportunities in the sense, just bring out something innovation. When what the term is startup, there is a basic difference between this is startup and a business. Business can be a normal business, like I'm operating a mall, or I'm operating a kirana shop. It is a business. I've taken a franchisee of Bata shoes and I'm selling the shoes. That is a business. But whenever the term startups comes, startup means there is something innovative. Either it's a new invention, or there is some improvisation in the old process which we have improved. So anything of these two can lie under a startup. Now, Startup India, how the government is helping. There are almost all the IITs, all the NITs, and even the private institutions, and even government directly is taking the application. Currently, the I'll be telling you, IIT Roorkee have opened it application process for the next batch. Even Uttarakhand government is giving tremendous opportunities for the same. They have also opened the application. Initial seed grant, there is a fund called seed fund. Depends on your idea, your proof of concept. Like, I'll be telling you what the POC is. POC basically is like, whatever I've got an idea of a robotic nurse, it's in mind. But as soon I note it down on a paper, I just document the whole robo on papers. Like, we are going to publish a paper, and accordingly we have to make everything. It should not get copied from anywhere. It has to be new or the improved version. So when it's new, whenever I'm quoting this term new, patent are actually asset. You can get a bank loan on your patents. So this is the power of patent, and no one can copy you. So US patent is the most advanced and highly recommendable. Even India is now also giving patent within 1 year. Within 1 year, you will be having your patent certificate. So as soon the idea hits your mind, get it copyrighted or patented first of all. Second, try preparing for the POC, proof of concept, which is the research paper which is published on the IEEE or whatever journals are available in the market. So this is the second point. Once the POC is ready, like on paper, I have shown that I can make oxygen like this. We will be using this kind of machinery and this sort of chemicals. Once then we have to present it to the panel. The panel consists of people from people from STPI, people from Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, who is handling. MIT is actually handling the whole lot of the startups. The panel may have some professors from the IITs, from the NITs, or whatever institution. There are 6 to 7 people, or can be more, or can be less. That depends. And we have to present the idea over there. Once the idea is presented, and we were able to explain everything to the concerned panel, then they ask us to form a company. The company has to be private limited, basically. Form a company and apply for the incubation. Incubation is like, what we say. It's you will be getting, what is the benefits of incubation? You will be getting office space. You will be getting laboratories, and you will be getting initial seed fund, which is of 10 lakhs, to make your POC into a prototype and a product, to convert your proof of concept, which you have done on pen and paper, convert that POC into a working prototype and a product. For this, the government used to give this 10 lakhs as a seed fund. Seed fund because it's a initial fund to grow the seed, basically. Just understand that way. And once the product is ready, we have just believe me, there is no look back. You don't have to look back. Basically, there is a huge sort of investors available in the market who are ready to invest from 25 lakhs to multiple of 100 crores within a month or two. That depends on the idea and that depends on the potential of your product. This when OYO had been funded, Byju's have been funded, almost everyone. So this is the thing, and the prime thing, the most important one is the team. Like one man army is not compatible in this startup or company thing. You have to be a team. I can't be a when I'm making a robo. I can't be electrical engineer, mechanical engineer, electronics engineer, and computer science. Everything at once. Not at all possible. So, team is the most important one. Just choose the team wisely who do not betray in middle of the work. Like you have decided a target. We have decided a target like 3 months. So for these 3 months, none of us is going to leave. Whether even this case happened actually. Like suppose you are working as a team, you have done the prototype, you have done the POC and all everything you have applied, and now you got the seed funds. And once the seed fund is given, you have to work. And in middle of the work, any of your team member who is the prime coder got a job in a Google worth 35 lakhs of package, and he can leave that actually. So that creates a problem. A tremendous enthusiasm is needed. Like I have to work like hell, work like hell until you win. This is the prime focus. The make a strong team who are not going to leave till last. And primos, the leader, the team leader. Everything depends on the team leader basically. Who is leading the team? Who is guiding everyone? Like how we have to proceed further. First of all, second, one thing I missed over here. I was thinking to talk about something. ROS, robotics operating system. Just I'll be taking 5-10 minutes more, not more than that. ROS basically initially for the Arduino and all IDE, even the STM boards can be coded on the Arduino IDE platform. The language we can use C++. See, C and C++ are the languages which are machine friendly, very machine friendly. It might seem a bit tough as compared to Python and all, but it is too much of machine friendly. So this is Arduino IDE. Now, actually, I have to explain ROS, Robotics Operating System. You can use any language, and this is basically a software. Robotics Operating System is not an operating system. It's a software platform which saves your time. Saves your time because it's an open source platform. Like I'm working on a navigation system, and if I search on the ROS, I'll be getting a lot of codings in almost every language, C, C++, Python. So I can take the reference from them and accordingly work on that. So it saves time. It's an open source software. It's not a platform. I'll be actually requesting you guys to start with the ROS as soon as possible, because Arduino ID, all everything, this is for the basic thing which can be done simultaneously also. Start learning ROS as soon as possible, because this is going to rule the market by next 5 years, and it's very cost effective, very time friendly. Like if we are coding in the Arduino IDE, suppose we are working on the STM board, it can take at least suppose for our nursing robo it took around 3 months of coding. We have almost 3 lakhs lines of codes over there. But if we are going to use ROS, that should have been done within 35 to 40 days. So it's going to save time. And once time is saved, na, your labor, your everything of the next 1.5 months has been saved. Anyhow, ultimately you are saving money. As soon you are saving time, you are saving money. Anyhow, so these are the things basically. Now I think I've taken 10 more minutes. So this is ROS. So I'll request everyone start with the ROS also. And as soon as you get your idea, get it copyrighted. Don't hesitate. And any sort of help you guys need in terms of anything related to robotics, humanoids, STM boards, or whatever, you guys are most welcome. We have office in the Delhi University. You can talk to me directly anytime, whatever problem you are having. Or else, if you guys are comfortable, we can plan for a workshop for 2 to 3 days over ROS, robotics operating system. We can make a small robot. You guys will be having some idea, and when I will ask my team to convey this message to you guys. So any sort of help or any sort of requirement or any sort of any kind of thing which you require, don't hesitate. Just drop me a text, drop me a mail, or can call me directly anytime. So this is all of now till now. I'll rest my session, and do let me know if any question comes down in your mind.
That was really enlightening, sir. We literally loved your perspective on robots. And we have a couple of questions in our
Sure,
chat
sure, sure,
box.
sure.
Yeah, somebody has asked that up to what extent can you trust a medical bot?
See, as far as robotics in medical part is concerned, as I said, accuracy. Like our hands can shiver if I am operating any patient, but the hands, the fingers of laser surgery. Like suppose laser is a very common surgery for the stone and all everything. And in most of there is a hospital in Medanta, in Gurgaon. They used to operate this laser surgery via robots, because laser is a thing you can't just even if a hand shiver, na, it can damage the other organs of the body parts. In that case, the machines are more trustworthy as compared to human hands. So for the surgery purpose, even Taiwan is working very good on that. Even India now, I was various hospitals like Medanta and Fortis have started working with the robotic surgery part. Even Indira Gandhi Institute of Medical Sciences is a government hospital. Even AIMS are planning to implement that. So anyhow, in small and it saves time. Actually, it saves a lot of time. Laser surgery saves a lot of time. The cutting stitches and all everything. It's a time-consuming thing. When the robo are there, their hands are not going to shiver. It's a accuracy. Accuracy is the most prime focus. As medical electronics is concerned, na, accuracy, like it will be tested for the 2 to 3 years. As I said, our bot is in PGI Chandigarh and AIMS Delhi, and they are going to test it for the next 2 to 3 years. Once everything remains good, then only the government will be permitting us to sell this product in the market. So accuracy is the main part. Machine anyhow is accurate as compared to human being. Suppose a normal example, we have to paint a car. We can get the paints distributed here and there, or we can go wrong also. But if the machine is there, na, the machine will be doing only that much what commands we have given to that, not extra. So anyhow, accuracy is perfect, I think.
Yes, sir. I
Yes.
think. So, what is the basic robot like? So instead of thinking on innovative things and other things, new person who is into the robotics field, what's the basic robot that he can work on, so that he could get a basic knowledge on robotics and sensors, coding, designing, and all those things.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, when we are starting robotics, so we have to start with the basic one. Basic one, just make a robotics car which can be controlled via Bluetooth, your mobile phones. That's a very basic thing. Or a line following robo. You can design the chassis and make sure the robots should have a arc in front. Like the chassis of the bot should be arc in order to get the perfect kinematics for the speed that can be controlled with the Bluetooth. So starting with that, you should start with those basic things. Line following robot, just get a black tape, use the two IR sensors, and let the robo move following that black tape only. It's called a line following bot. These are the basic things. And once these are the, just prepare three to four these kind of bots, which are very basic: Bluetooth control, line following, wall following robo, or obstacle detection. Like anywhere the robo is seeing that wall is in front, it can change the direction and move in the another path. So obstacle detection, these are the basic robo which should be started, as soon as possible for the learning purpose basically. And once these are done, now you will be automatically having immense knowledge that what all I can do further. So these are the basic ones, so which I would
Yes.
request you to start with these.
Okay, so in the basic robotics, what are the processors and the coding language that can be used?
Yeah,
So,
sure, 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 sure. Yeah, as said, start when you are starting with the basic boards. You start with the Arduino Nano or Arduino Uno. Both are good. Fine. Arduino use the LiPo batteries, the normal ones, even 12-volt battery you can have, or 3.7 volt, 3 batteries of 3.7 volts. You use the LiPo batteries. Arduino Uno, Arduino this Nano. These two are used for the basic purposes. Use the normal IR sensors, use the normal ultrasonic sensors, and this is basically the basic components. And I'll tell you, get an ultrasonic sensor, get two IR sensors, get a chassis, get geared motors, two geared motors, one 360-degree wheel rotation, and you can make three to four robots out of this much of components only. Three to four in the sense like the same robo can be converted to a wall following, same robo can be converted to a line following robo, same robo with the use of ultrasonics can be used for this obstacle detection purposes, and Bluetooth control. Just attach a Bluetooth to every bot, and that will be actually exciting. And once you are going with the basic things now, automatically you are going to have some more innovations in your mind, like what extra we can do on that. Normal use Arduino, IDE, C, C++, these are the language. Basically, start what I will tell. C is quite known as one of the toughest language, but this is the basic one. It's same like ABCD of, it's a mother of all languages. So if you are not comfortable, just go through that. Once again, start with C++. C, it's a combination we used to have in Arduino IDE, and then move on to Python or Raspberry and all everything, whatever you are comfortable with. But start with these basic things. I forgot to mention about Raspberry. That's no issue. That is also a small computer. So basically, we start with these things as explained. Next.
over to you, Mukesh.
Yeah. Okay. So we have another question. Do you have any plans to make some underwater robots?
Yeah, basically, I just forgot to mention that currently we are one of our team is working with the Namami Gange project, and basically it's a collection of plastics from the ground, basically from the ground inside the river Ganga. There are various bottles and all everything filled with water which is just beneath river Ganga, and we are working with on underwater drones. Currently another startup at IIT Chennai is also have developed some underwater drones, and currently we are working on that, the underwater drones concept. We have used several kind of sensors in that. Basically, lidar we are using a waterproof camera to detect, and we are using machine learning to detect the plastics and all everything present in the river Ganga. So underwater drones, even talks had been going on with the Archaeological Survey of India, and the end of 2022 at Dwarka. Still, there are various researches going on inside the river at Dwarka. So we have plans and we are already developing the POC, and hopefully by the end of 2022 we'll be out with the underwater drones also. Okay.
Those are some really great plans, sir. And I don't think we have any more questions. So I'd like to hand over to Ananya to wind up the
Yeah.
session.
Yeah. So thank you, sir. It was a great event, and we learned and explored many new things. And thank you
Thank
for
you,
having
Ananya.
thank you for having time with us. And the event was really knowledgeable. Like, thank you
Yes,
so
sir.
much.
Thank you,
It was
Ananya,
very
to do something
informative.
bad. Thank you so much